So if you came here to listen to this guy, there's not such guy here. I'm Adam Jaworski, but it's not me. Okay, proof check. If you need a mandate, my mandate to speak, pretty much this is it. I've graduated from psychology, then I was playing with designing book covers, and all of a sudden I became UX designer, and now I serve as a manager for UX team, and still I am a practitioner because I wouldn't agree to serve as a manager if I not practice. That's my mandate. Okay guys, I would like to start with a little story about ABB. This is ABB. We are not IT company. This is not fancy stimulation stuff, or it stimulates, but it stimulates transformers. It's a picture from a transformers factory in Łódź, because ABB does transformers. We've been to the trip with a couple of developers to meet factory guys, talk to them, ask them, okay guys, do you like our software? Is it okay for you to do your job? And it was, you know, it was like usual moaning session. Yes, no, we don't like it really. It's too much friction. We can't use it. Like, guys, can you do anything for us? And there was one lady in her, I would say mid-60s, awaiting retirement, I guess. And I asked her one face-to-face, is there anything good? Can you show me one example of something that's working for you? And she replied, well, yes, actually there is one piece of software, you know. We had one developer 15 years ago sitting like over there, and he did a program for us. He wrote a program, he coded that. He was just a lone developer in that corner. And it's perfect. We are still using it. So I asked, okay, can you show me this brilliant piece of software? That was a software for managing projects in operational excellence. And she showed me something like this. Look how cool it is. It's basically how we work. It does everything. Well, I wouldn't call it perfect back then. If only I had a team to improve this crime against software. Okay. So let me get back to that later on, okay? What about UX? In fact, I highly doubt there are a lot of designers here. So I'll focus on developers instead, because my last year experience from the conference is when you start talking about designers, it happens that only developers sit in the room. And I guess that's true, right? You're developers, product managers, analysts, testers, right? Cool. So, for all of you who are just partly interested in the topic, I will boil it all down in just a few sentences right now, and then you can go and listen to hippos. So, all that I would like to say is, if you want to have good user experience of your product, you need to fall in love with your product and with people you collaborate with. Okay, now we can have a coffee break. Thank you. That was it. Just joking. It was not funny, but anyway. Okay, this is essentially what I'm going to say. Now the rest will be just some thoughts, okay, from my experience. The thing is, with user experience is, we can't really design user experience. If someone says, I'm a user experience designer, he or she is wrong, because you cannot design user experience. Your user can sneeze the whole day he interacts with your product, and for that one reason, user experience is spoiled. Okay? So you cannot design user experience, you can influence that. And the only way to influence user experience is just by loving your product and loving people you work with. We used to work like this. I and people from my team have been preparing pixel-perfect design. We've been crafting perfect designs with brilliant ideas. Our ego was more than happy, oftentimes. Then we passed this all to developer team. But regardless of how much craft goes into design and that part, UX happens here. And as a designer, as a manager of team designers with full responsibility, I need to tell you that user experience happens here. So if you are a designer, you need to bear that in mind. So I propose the ultimate UX teamwork model. That's it. You can just try to replicate that into your notes. We've been there in ABB with exactly that kind of problems. There is no better way of influencing UX of your product than to stop being developers or designer and just do it together, okay? So, if you feel urgent need to tweet, you can tweet that and just focus on listening. So, designer, you need to fall in love with your developer because you are not creating user experience. You are creating a draft. Developer has much more input into overall user experience than you think. And if you are a developer or project manager or tester or anyone, fall in love with human. And this should be your tactics from tomorrow on, because what we are great at, I don't know if you know that, how to play this GIF. We are perfect as a developers in avoiding human interaction of any kind. You know? This is what we do when someone mentions users. Okay, we are just hiding. No, it's UX guys matter, it's product owner matter, it's PM matter, and we are doing basically this. Okay. Now we are wrong. So here is the developers. Guys, this developer, this mythical developer from Łódź, was loving to code, was loving to write some scripts, as much as he loved sitting with those old people. You may call it old grumpy guys from Transformers Factory. So he loved sitting with them, observing how they work, and crafting software directly for them. And this is good user experience, regardless of how bad the UI is. Because people behave according to some scripts, and this is a psychological law. People behave according to scripts, and you developers should appreciate that. So UX, for me, UX is technology understandable for everyone. So go and talk to people, developers. Go and meet them, talk to them, share the stories with the rest of your team. It's easy, really. I know what you are going to tell. You are going to tell, we don't have a designer, really. Okay, I can do user experience, but I don't have any visual design skills. So this is about Honeycomb. UX Honeycomb says that user experience is not only a visual design. In fact, you don't have visual design here. There are other elements of user experience that you can directly influence, like desirability. Make people want your product, even if it's ugly. Or accessibility. That's, I mean, you know a lot more about accessibility than me. Credibility. Is your product credible enough for people to use it? Is your product easy to find for people that need your product? Or is it good value for money? So please remember that. There is a lot more behind user experience than visual design. Now, what about Agile, guys? Probably we all know that, okay? You are laughing. You know that sketch. So for me, it's not about lazy, selfish people hungry for money. It's about fundamental disconnection that we make. Design, development, and users. We do this fundamental disconnection. And good or bad news is that there is a law about that, saying exactly about this disconnecting things. And it's called a Conway law. And it says, basically, that your system that you produce or you design will be an exact copy of your organizational structure. Okay? So the structure of how you communicate in the team will be influenced in the design system. For that, let me take you to New York. Let's imagine an emergency scene. There was a natural disaster of some kind. And then Superman arrives, okay? And Superman says, I can use my superpowers to take the bus out of here. Then the fireman comes and says, I can melt this ice with my eyes. This ice with my eyes. Then the drillman comes and says, I can drill a big hole in the ground with my drill arms. Okay? And this story is about us. We are superheroes. We like to think about ourselves as superheroes. But there is one thing. No matter if your superpower is really needed in the team, you will find a way to utilize it in the team. And that translates into, if you have a relational database guy in your team, you will end up with a relational database, regardless of whether it's needed or not. If you have a graphic designer in your team, you will land with graphic interface, even if command line is perfectly fine. You know? And that's true. Here it is, the Conway Law. And as you can see, it's 1968, it's older than Agile, okay? And probably Conway had little knowledge about software, you know? But this is still true. Unfortunately, it propagates into user experience of your product. And this will be this corporation part. I will try to tell our story. But this is it. Sorry, guys. How you communicate, how you collaborate will be directly reflected in user experience of your product. Users, subconsciously maybe, will see friction or disconnection, okay? Remember that Transformer Factory developer? Back then, I would immediately add a designer to design a proper usability experience or a good graphic interface. But it was not what this old lady needed. I would add a .NET developer who would transfer the whole app into cloud, okay? But this is not what the lady needs. I would add a business analyst who would definitely persuade the old lady that this app is not what you need, but it's not what she needs, you know, guys? So every superhero will definitely find a way to influence the product, even if it's not needed at all. So, how to mitigate this Conway Law effect, regardless of whether you work in waterfall or in agile? It's keeping your people hungry for superheroes. What we did in ABB, because we started as a team of designers and we felt that fundamental disconnection between design and development. Okay? So first, our designers joined agile teams, period. If you have a designers, try to make them into development teams. No better advice I can give. If someone tries you to persuade you can work in separation, that's not true. Second things, involving designers, if you have really good people, makes several things. First, they participate in your grooming session, backlog groomings. Second things, they start working with developers, and developers start sketching, prototyping, experimenting, and they somehow magically acquire this experimenting or prototyping or a design mindset. So this is it. Okay. What can product managers or product owners or whatever you call them or whatever is a buzzword right now, what you can do if you have a group of people here? You should understand what worked in ABB, that prototyping, common prototyping, developers, designers together is not only a way to influence a product that you can develop faster, more like fit solutions to the market, but it's a powerful, very powerful binding force for the team. To the culture of experimenting, which means basically sketching, prototyping, producing a lot of your ideas on paper, it's very powerful force to bind your team together. Okay, and this happened in ABB. You can ask some guys if you see ABB here. You can ask some guys how it worked. The second very important thing about keeping people hungry is do not overstaff your team. Because we tend to form our teams when we know very little about the project. Okay, we know just nothing, just the brief idea. And then we tend to overstaff. We need a database guy, we need a backend guy, we need a designer, we need a developer, we need an analyst. And yeah, superheroes will find a way to utilize their powers. So keeping people hungry, like reasonably small enough team, will happen. Some things will happen. First, people will start to produce very simple solutions because you can't afford complexity if you have small team. So people will start preparing simple solutions and not overly complicated architectures. Okay? This will happen probably in some years. But first, they will produce simple solutions and not overly complex architectures. Another tweet line, if you feel a need for tweet, but happy that you are listening. Keeping your team hungry will make it truly lean. Okay? If people are hungry, they will be lean. Okay? That's true. Okay. Now about corporation, because I would like to share a story from ABB. And yeah, probably some of us work in corporations. I've seen guys from Sabre. I have seen guys from UBS. Probably Ocado Technology may be a corporation one day. Who knows? So essentially about the corporation. We see startups everywhere right now. We go to meetups, we meet people from startups claiming that they have best user experience, claiming that they solve problems, that they have contact with users, they produce breakthrough ideas, whatever. Okay? But in fact, what I like in working in a big corporation is that this is totally a desert land. And everyone needs your help, period. Really, it's... If you are a developer and you start showing some interest in user experience or design, you will find yourself in 1 month being totally ripped out of your time because everyone needs your help. We know this guy from Team X. He's really interested in user experience, so he can prepare designs for you. It happens in every big company I know. If you're a developer or a tester, but there is a little bit of a sign that you might be interested in user experience, people will use you. So this is what I like in corporation, because I can influence designers to be developers to be designers as well. This is very cool. In corporation, it's just easy. My thinking is, it's just easy. If you're interested, just go and help someone. I know a friend of mine works in UBS here in Krakow, and she has no ties to IT. She's just a financial lady. And a couple of guys came to her and said, "Hey, we are developing a new system for you. Can you just do a UAT session, user acceptance testing?" And she told them, guys, wait, this is not how we work. This is not how we work. I work totally different. And guess what? In 2 weeks' time, she's been delivering UX workshop to IT guys because she's the user. And this is very interesting. Now about our challenge. We've been tasked to deliver ABB intranet. I guess nothing can be more boring than delivering an intranet, right? Especially if you have to do that at scale. You have 60 countries, 20 languages, 150K employees in the world, and the current system has about 600,000 pages. Okay? So challenges are multiplied. And we formed a team, an agile team, with designer, analysts, with a couple of developers, very skilled guys, and we started doing that. First, we needed to earn trust. And all was perfect at the beginning because we earned trust from the main stakeholder who was a head of corporate digital communication. So if you have trust in Agile, if you have trust in the team, it's all perfect. You can just start doing things. So how we worked, we started with a design sprint with developers and stakeholders. We all attended 3 days design sprint with basically a blank page challenge. Okay, our internet is so bad that all we can do is just to start with a blank page challenge and figure something out. We've been proposing modern solutions to problems that we discovered, not the problems that were given, but we discovered problems, and then we've been proposing modern solutions. There's a couple of slides just that you know what I'm talking about. Very relaxed atmosphere, a lot of talks, you know, not restricted by any kind of requirements gathering methodology, okay? Just, we have those 3 basic problems that our employees around the world have. So let's start with answering those questions and solving these problems. By the way, cool solutions didn't came from designers, but just from developers, just as a side note. Our main KPI at that time, because if you are doing completely new system, you need to start with completely new KPI. So we discovered that our KPI should be, we are proud and happy with the product we are doing. The second KPI, because we are employees and we're going to use the intranet afterwards. So keeping us, the team, using the intranet was the second biggest KPI. Okay, so just very basic set. If we're happy with what we are doing, we are in the right path. After some time, we have had a custom app with modern technologies, no SharePoints, no other content management systems, just everything written by hand of our developers. We had a dashboard looking pretty much like this, okay? Pretty fresh and inspiring, something that I can be proud of as a designer, right? But the thing was, our people from ABB needed just good search. And the first reception, and it was not only change management, our first reception was, oh guys, how can we revert? Please advise how to revert. Please revert. Search sucks, etc., etc. So we were proud of our system. People were not. People needed good search because it all worked according to Conway law. Because we had big boss obsessed with social media and user-generated content as a way to motivate employees to do their jobs. But it was not what was needed. Our designers were obsessed in departing from restrictive branding rules that ABB imposes on every designer. So we had something fresh, yes, but it was not what people needed. Our testers were crazy about writing automated tests to everything, regardless of whether it's an experimental feature that's going to die after 2 weeks or not. We need to have something, everything automated, like they've been automating like crazy. Cool stuff, right? But it was not needed. And our functional analyst was obsessed with productivity tools, whereas productivity tools in ABB lie in other departments. So people were not using our productivity tools because we replicated, according to Conway law, we replicated our internal structure, our internal wishes, our internal needs. But it was not what people need, okay? Yeah, guys, basically, that's it. So a couple of ending slides right now. I would like to leave you with one of my favorite quotes if it comes to Agile. It comes from Mike Tyson. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. and this is true. So guys, good luck in staying agile. Now I guess it's the lunchtime. It's from Star Wars. And the very last thing, okay, for you, it's to remember that designers do not work like this. It's not a designer role. Thank you very much.